2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bars Furniture. You've got to come down and see what's new. We're now carrying Simply Amish, all solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bars Furniture, voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
All right, we're back, and we've got a lot to get to tonight. And I'm going to turn that off for you guys so you don't have to hear that. It's looping now through there. Appreciate it. We got a few advertisers in the show now. We've got Paradise Chevrolet out of Temecula and Bars Furniture, I think in Rubidoux. It's also here with us. So good to have them here on the show. And of course, Paradise has got the halftime or the scoreboards tonight. So again, going through the scores here real quick. Corona beating King 17-3. Centennial over North 52-34. Roosevelt has beaten Pauley 50-21. Santiago, a big win tonight over Norco to really complicate matters in that basically now it's Centennial and pretty much everybody else, I think, in the way that this is working, because Santiago lost, I think they're 2-0 now. So it's going to be Centennial and we'll look at those standings here in a little bit. Okay. In the Inland Valley League, Arlington has beaten Moreno Valley 17-3, but the league leader, of course, is Rancho Verde. They win big tonight, 38-3 over Valley View at Valley View. Key win tonight. Moreno Valley, Vista del Lago, and La Sierra, we're still looking for that one. La Sierra is unbeaten and very formidable. I want to talk about Jurupa Valley, though, because they've been sneaky all season long. They were 3-0-1 going in tonight. They beat Paris at Paris 15-6 to improve to 4-0-1. So, you know, maybe they'll be one to mix some things up here in the Sunkist League. Rim of the World has had some ups and downs this season. They lost to Big Bear last week. They beat Desert Hot Springs tonight 49-22. Chaparral travels to Indio. They win 28-10. Paloma Valley has beaten Bloomington 33-13. We're looking still for the CMI Linfield Christian score.
Nels was at that game. It'd be surprising that he hasn't got with us on that.
Well, he's so busy tonight that I don't. You know, he started tonight at Summit and Murrieta Mesa, and then he made his way down to the
He must have heard us talking about him, because I had asked him earlier if he had a final yet, and right as we were talking, he texts back, "Nope."
Could at least give us a score. I mean, what's up with that?
Where's the love?
I don't know where the love's at. All right, we had Beaumont and Banning in the 86th renewal of that game, Dave, and Beaumont was thoroughly
38-0.
It's 38-0 now, the final score in that one?
That's right.
Okay. We mentioned Rev and Mission Viejo. We're working on those clips and working on a few others here. And Dave, when you're ready to go through your whole score list there, I'm gonna turn it right to you on the EXT, and you can go right to it. Your phone's going crazy. Who's texting you now?
It's your boss.
It's your boss.
I don't know. I'm telling him I don't know. He said, "Did you get the highlights?"
Oh, I have the highlights. I'll have to get it for him here in a moment. Not a lot of games this week, too. Everyone's on a bye. Like the entire Mountain Pass League's on a bye. Most of the Sun Belt leagues on a bye. Most of the Mountain Valley leagues on a bye. It seems like
28 games?
Yeah, there's only 28 games on the schedule. Next week, though, it begins. It's on for sure next week.
Lewis, did you see Chaparral came back to beat India?
What do you mean they came back? Were they down in that game?
Yes, they were. They were down 10-0 and came back to win 28.
What's going on? What's going on in the world? 28-10, the win for Chaparral at India. As you heard Dave Zink saying that they were down in that game.
That's your second one of the year.
What's game right now is like the most surprising to you? Is it the Cajon score?
I think it's pretty surprising. Yes, that Cajon actually had to come back. Yeah,
Santiago
is probably.
Jeff
right.
Parenti has spoken. Jeff, would you like to make your recital for the night?
Probably not tonight.
Not going to do it tonight? No Raven tonight?
The autumn wind.
The autumn wind. Jeff Parenti.
Maybe a little stairway.
Jeff Parenti over here
Stairway.
He's a big Raiders fan. So last week he recited the autumn wind over and over again. So we'll maybe if you feel spirited enough later.
We're above 500. We're no longer above 500.
That's true. Haven't they fired the coach yet?
Not yet.
Well, we're hoping they fire the Bills coach after his losses last couple of weeks, Chan Gailey. Yeah, that Santiago one. That's a stunner. What's up with Norco, Dave? Up and down. I'll see
Young.
them.
I think they're probably young.
Young. They still look good though. I'd still probably pick them every time though. Okay. We had a couple of news items that happened. West Valley ended up having to forfeit against their win last week against Norte Vista, and then Granite Hills had to forfeit last week's win against Fontana for using ineligible players. And we'll see how this one shakes out. Probably a little bit more story there too, with those two. But West Valley now wins. Should I change that in the contest?
What's that?
The West Valley thing, that was like a category killer. Like 90% of the people picked against West Valley.
I don't think you can. You can't go back and change results. They can. We can't. Come on now.
I could change the result to be a 1-0 win, right? For them.
Wow.
You want to do that?
It
helps you in the contest.
It's up to you. Yeah, it does.
Because you picked Norte Vista.
There's nothing that can help.
You know who
me.
helps mostly? Most helps Erically.
There's nothing that can help me. And Erkley needs help. He was texting me from New Orleans. Doesn't he have anything better to do?
What was he doing? Yeah, Chris Erkley not here tonight, so the late night show will be hosted by Pep Fernandez and Will C. Holden. But what was he texting you about?
He was texting me to say how surprising it was that his beloved North Huskies were getting pummeled.
Right.
He used some more colorful language, which I won't repeat, but basically pummeled.
He kind of caught the end of the season when they made that run to the CIF baseball championship, and he really enjoyed covering them. They went to Dodger Stadium. They won the Division I title there. After seeing them get run over by Centennial today, I don't think that's going to happen.
Lewis, if you'd like to jump back into the scores, we can take another run at them if you'd like.
You got them up here. There we go. There you go, Dave.
So we start out here with John W. North making a bit of a comeback after being down big at the half, but they do lose to Centennial 52-34. Centennial, the number one ranked in the Inland Division, is 2-0 and 4-1 overall, and North goes to 1-1 and 4-1. In the Corona King game, I guess this would be possibly a play for last place or second to last place in the Big 8 League. But Corona comes out on top, 17-3 over King. King remains winless at 0-2 in league and 0-5 overall. Corona is 1-1 and 1-4. By the way, this snaps a 9-game losing streak for Corona. And moving on, we've got, again, the game we were just talking about, Santiago with a 49-22 win over Norco. Santiago is now 2-0 in league, 3-2 overall, and Norco goes to 1-1, 3-2. Then we have Riverside Poly losing to Roosevelt. Roosevelt's was their backup starting quarterback, their backup quarterback who became the starter when Crone went down. He had quite a good game. I don't have his stats in here yet, but we will later. And he led them to a 50-21 victory over Riverside Poly. Roosevelt is 1-1 in league, 3-2 overall, and Poly 1-1 in league. Roosevelt's 1-1 and 2-3 in league, and Poly is 1-1 and 3-2 overall. Then we go to the Inland Valley League, where Rancho Verde absolutely manhandled Valley View. Now, Valley View is having a resurgent season this year at 5-1 overall. They go to 1-1 in league with their loss to Rancho Verde. Rancho Verde pretty much maintaining the same path they have for probably the last 3 or 4 years with a 2-0 start in league and a 5-0 start overall. I would imagine they're probably going to be pretty close to undefeated in both places again. Hopefully they get enough competition in league that they'll be ready for the playoffs. Then we go on in the Valley League. Arlington, who has struggled this year, defeating Moreno Valley 17-3. The game was played at Moreno Valley High School. Arlington is 1-1 in league, 2-3 overall, and Moreno Valley's winless at 0-2 in league, 0-5 overall. Moving on, Ramona last night at a home game against Canyon Springs, defeated Canyon's home game at Ramona Stadium, against Canyon Springs. They defeated the Cougars 35-15. Ramona, another resurgent team from last year. I think they went winless last year. They're now 3-2 overall and 2-0 in league. Canyon Springs is winless at 0-6. No, they can't be 0-6. I think it's 0-5 and 0-2 in league. Moving on. Oops, sorry, I don't have that game. There we go. Moving on to the San Andreas League, Week 5 game at Cajon High School. Cajon had to come back after trailing late. They did end up defeating San Gorgonio 20-16. San Gorgonio goes to 1-1 in league, 1-4 overall, and Cajon is still undefeated at 5-0 overall and 2-0 in league. Of course, Cajon is the number 2 ranked team in the Central Division and maintains that, although the vote count might get a little shaky based on this last game. San Gorgonio obviously came to play, and San Gorgonio is really good at game planning for a lot of these other teams. They do a really good job. They're usually hanging in. They're like Etiwanda. Sometimes their record doesn't really show it, but they give everybody a really good game, and that has a lot to do with the coaching and everything. So let me move on. Let me try and there we go. Murrieta Mesa keeps on rolling, defeating Palisades 37-0 at Vista Murrieta High School. They now improve to 5-0 overall, and that's a non-league game, obviously, looking to get back into league. And another non-league game, Summit absolutely pummels Murrieta Mesa, giving them their first loss of the year, 49-0. Summit is 4-1, Murrieta Mesa 4-1 also, but not faring too well against a non-league opponent. Then we got here, this is another interesting score. Chaparral was trailing 10-0 at Indio High School, but came back in the second half with 28 points, obviously unanswered points, to win 28-10. Chaparral moves to 2-3, and Indio is still winless at 0-5. Next up, we've got Paloma Valley defeating Bloomington 33-13 at Paloma Valley High School. Both teams are 3-2, and we'll have to get back to there. Sorry about the zeros there and putting in the scores. I obviously have missed some of the finals, but these are all final scores, by the way. Next one up, non-league game, we have Harupa Valley defeating Paris 15-6. Harupa Valley moves to 4-0-1, still without a loss, but a tie on the record, and Paris is now 3-2. And in the Battle of the Pass there, I think they play for some type of trophy. I'm sure Lewis knows. Lord Banning would know this, but Beaumont defeats Banning 38-0. They shut them out. It was 31-0 at the half, I believe, and they just went on to a 38-0 win. Beaumont 3-2. Banning still without a win at 0-5. Next one up here, a huge win for Redlands East Valley, a 10-7 victory over Mission Viejo, who was highly touted coming into this game. Redlands has yet to give up. I think they've given up maybe 10 points all season. They've got a couple shutouts on their record, and a couple games where they've given up a few. This is the most points they've given up all season in any one game, but 7, not a bad number. Lewis, what is it that Banning and Beaumont play for besides pride?
They play for the wagon wheel or some nonsense.
They play for the wagon wheel. Well, that's pretty lame. People play for a lot of things, smudge pots and shields, and they play for a wagon wheel. Don't get that one.
Well,
but
Stagecoach Town USA. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't get that one still. Either way, Beaumont now has the wagon wheel in hand, I guess.
I think it's like they've won that 3 years in a row, though. But it's like still like they still have to win go 10 more years before they actually tie it up.
Well, moving on to non-league play, we got Kaiser defeating Hesperia 45-10. Kaiser moves to 3-2. Hesperia now 1-5. and Patriot over Victor Valley. I guess Miriam Swanson is sad tonight. Her alma mater has gone down to Patriot being
They're
shut
winless,
out.
aren't they? Isn't Victor
14
Valley?
to 0. Yes, that moves Victor Valley to 0-5 overall. Patriot is now 2-3 and improving as the season goes on. Whoops. Here's another one. We got Rim of the World defeating Desert Hot Springs 49-22. Both teams are 2-3. That's a non-league contest. And of course, Korean Lutheran from Irvine defeating Sherman Indian, shutting them out 56 to 0. Wow, we got that wrong. We have San Jacinto in the score. We'll have to fix that, but I believe Korean Lutheran is undefeated this season. Sherman Indian has yet to win a game.
All right, we're going to go to some highlights, Dave.
All right, well, just a couple more here, Lewis. Hold on one second. We've got Etowanda defeating Eisenhower 50 to 7. Eisenhower 2-3, Etowanda 3-2. That was a Thursday night game. And one more here. We've got Bloomington Christian going all the way to Avalon to defeat Avalon.
Oh, that's a nice little trip.
Shutting them out
6-0.
24 to 0. Bloomington Christian improves to 6-0. And Laguna Beach defeating Harupa Hills 56 to 14. And we've got some crazy things in there. Don't worry about that. I'll fix that. That is not right. That's
from
last week's game.
All right, let's go back to these highlights now real quick. We're going to get off of this one, and we're going to play these for you. This is Murrieta Mesa and Summit, and it was the annual Pink Out. First quarter action, Dante Dion scores on a 23 yards out on a nifty inside handoff and a pitch for Summit's first touchdown. Then Jamal Williams scores a 70-yard run from the Skyhawks' second possession to make it 14-0 here early on, and looking very, very strong. All right, here's Williams again. Jamal Williams on a little 11-yard run in for the score. All right, Murrieta Mesa on a drive with a pass from Chase Chambers to Devin Scott, but he's going to be pulled down at about the 31-yard line. Now Chambers connects with Keandre Pickney to come up with the Rams in scoring position, but then the Skyhawks to come up with an interception and kill the drive. And Summit scores in this 50-yard pass from Bernard Porter to Brandon Mosley, 28-0. And Summit is rolling. That is it. That's the let's not look at that again, because that was it, Dave, for Summit tonight, as Summit rolls over Murrieta Mesa impressively, ending Murrieta Mesa's perfect season. So Murrieta Mesa now goes into the Southwestern League with a loss, and they lose tonight against a very good Summit team ranked number 1, I believe, in the Eastern Division. And now you've got the way it's rest of the Southwestern League looks, a very interesting league now. You have Vista Murrieta, who has unbeaten on the season. They easily beat Palisades tonight after the big win on the road last week against Crespi. Of course, the big stories of the night, as Dave has mentioned already, we have a huge win by Redlands East Valley at home at the University of Redlands against Mission Viejo. 10-7 the win there. A tremendous win. We're going to have some highlights from that one here in a few minutes from Pep Fernandez as we get ready to go into 10:30, and he'll take over the show for us. We also have a big win for Centennial tonight in a showdown matchup between those two. We'll have some results. We'll have some highlights for you here momentarily. I'm just looking to check the progress of those here. Again, 52 to was it 52 to 30, Dave? The final score?
What's that?
I was at the game for most
52-34.
52 to 34. A big win and very impressive. And I see EPJ over there. He's fiercely riding away. So we'll get some of that here in a few minutes. All right, we'll take another quick break. We'll be back with more here on HS Game Time Live. We'll see you here in just a quick second here on the big show.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche or Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time Live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bar's Furniture. You've got to come down and see what's new. We're now carrying Simply Amish, all solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bar's Furniture, voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take
We are now
advantage of
back
0%
with more here on
APR
HS Game Time
financing
Live.
plus $1,000
Big night
in
of football.
bonus
We'll have
cash.
video
Go for the
highlights. We
rugged
already have a few video
2011
highlights
Avalanche
in
or Colorado,
the player,
the Rump and Tumble
an
Silverado,
player
or even
from
a
the
Suburban,
Centennial game.
Tahoe,
We've
or
got
Traverse model.
a few
Hurry into
touchdown
Paradise
passes.
Chevrolet
We've
Cadillac
got a
today.
couple of
Conveniently
Norse
located
highlights.
at
We've got two highlights
2760
from
Inez
Centennial.
Road between
And if you
Winchester
care,
and
it was
Rancho
homecoming there at
California Road
Centennial
in Temecula.
tonight, and you can watch those on pe.com. So take a look at those. What do you have this on here? Well, you don't watch Homecoming? You don't watch the Homecoming, the princess and the king and everything?
I'm on deadline.
Oh, I just want to make sure. Okay. All right, let's go back to the scores, Dave. What do you got?
I'm sorry, what?
Go back to the scores for a minute. Let's see what you got here.
Okay, there you go. Back to the top.
Oh, that's the old score. Yeah, back to the top. That's last week's score.
Nope. We got from the top. We got again Centennial defeating North 52-34 in a Big 8 league game. Between Riverside North taking their first league loss. Now 1-1, 4-1. Centennial 2-0, 4-1. Centennial, of course, is the #1 ranked team in the Inland Division. We got Corona defeating Martin Luther King High School here in Riverside. Corona 1-1, 1-4, and King still winless at 0-2, 0-5. Corona snaps a 9-game losing streak. Then we have Santiago with a surprise victory. Santiago probably thought they were going to win, but I don't think a lot of other people did. Santiago defeating Norco 49-22. Santiago 2-0 in league, 3-2 overall. Still in first place, or at least tied for first place in the Big 8 league a couple of games in. Norco 1-1, 3-2, back in the pack. And of course, Arlington Roosevelt defeating Riverside Poly 50-21. Backup quarterback who turned into the starter when Crone went down had a good game tonight, and he's led them to a victory tonight. Roosevelt 1-1, 1-1, 2-3. Riverside Poly is 1-1 in league and 3-2 overall. Another game in the Inland Valley League. We got Rancho Verde manhandling Valley View. Valley View having quite a good year this year, but they took it on the chin tonight, losing to Rancho Verde. Rancho Verde is now 2-0 in league, 5-0 overall. Valley View 1-1, 5-1. And of course, Arlington coming back with a win after last week's league opening loss. They're 1-1, 2-3. They defeated Moreno Valley 17-3. Moreno Valley still winless at 0-2 and 0-5 overall. Ramona, this is from Thursday night. Ramona defeated Canyon Springs 35-15 to go 2-0 in league, 3-2 overall. A resurgent season after, I believe, a winless season last year. They are now with 2 wins in league. Oops, and then we're still looking for the Vista Del Lago score. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. In the San Andreas League, Cajon defeats San Gorgonio 20-16. They go to 5-0 overall, 2-0 in league. They're the number 2 ranked team in the Central Division. San Gorgonio 1-1, 1-4 overall. San Gorgonio giving pretty much everybody a good game. Didn't come out on the top side of that one, but it took Cajon the entire game pretty much to take that victory from them. Carter defeating Colton in San Andreas League play, 41-0, shutting out Colton. Colton is still winless at 0-1, 0-4, and Carter is 1-0 and 4-0. We're still looking for the Pacific score, the San Bernardino score, and if we move on down, oops, nope, getting the wrong one there. There we go. Carter shutting out Colton. We just did that one. There we go. Vista Marietta defeats Palisades 37-0. Vista Marietta is 5-0 overall. Palisades is still winless. And of course, Summit manhandling Merida Mesa. Merida Mesa went into that game undefeated, but they take it on the chin. 49-0 loss. They are now 4-1. Summit is also 4-1. And keep going down through here. Chaparral coming back in the second half to defeat Indio at Indio 28-10. They are now 2-3. Indio is still winless at 0-5. Paloma Valley in another non-league game defeats Bloomington 33-13. Both teams are now 3-2. Jurupa Valley over Paris 15-6. Jurupa Valley still without a loss with a 4-0-1 record. Paris is now 3-2. Beaumont in the Battle of the Wagon Wheel, I believe, or whatever it is. I guess Lewis is really into that one. I'm not sure. Beaumont defeats Banning 38-0. Beaumont 2-3, and Banning is 0-5. We've got in another.
Wait, you just wait till the Notre Dame Banning game happens, and then we'll have some real words.
Oh, okay. So you're threatening me with Banning?
Not that it'll matter, I don't think, but we'll have
It's
words.
okay. I like to be threatened with
right.
Banning. That's a known commodity. Okay, here we go. We got in non-league, Redlands East Valley led the entire way against a highly touted Mission Viejo squad, defeating them 10-7. I think East Valley has yet to give up. Well, we got some highlights going on over here. We've yet to give up. They've yet to give up more than a touchdown in a game. They give up 7 tonight, defeating them 10-7 at the University of Redlands. Mission Viejo is 3-2, and I believe Redlands East Valley is 5-0, although it doesn't say it there. In a non-league game between the CMI and Linfield Christian wins 10-6. California Military Institute in Paris is 4-2. Linfield moves to 2-1, another team with a tie on their record. Okay, and we got Kaiser defeating Hesperia at Hesperia High, going to the high desert to defeat them 45-10. Kaiser is 3-2, and Hesperia is 1-5. We have Patriot with a shutout of Victor Valley. I'm sure Marion Swanson's wallowing in this one, not enjoying the loss, but you take it every now and again. Victor Valley has yet to win a game this year, 0-5. Patriot is now 3-2. And then we have Rim of the World, 49-22 winners over Desert Hot Springs up the hill. Desert Hot Springs went the long way, the back way up there, and I'm sure it's going to be a long ride home. Rim of the World 2-3. Desert Hot Springs now falls to 2-3. Sherman Indian taking it on the chin against Korean Lutheran of Irvine. Korean Lutheran wins 56-0. Korean is 5-0, and Sherman is 0-4. Moving on to the rest of the scores, we got El Rancho defeating Fontana 35-0 in a final. El Rancho is 4-1, and Fontana 0-5. Still looking, there we go. Etowanda, team that's sneaky good, I think is what you call them. They've played a lot of good teams this year, but they get an easy one against Eisenhower.
That baseline league is really, really, really difficult with with Upland in there and Rancho Cucamonga, both unbeaten, and that should be an interesting one to see.
Well, there's no easy games for Etowanda, but this one was probably the easiest one they'll have all year. A 50-7 victory over Eisenhower at Colony High School. Etowanda 3-2. Their 2 losses. I don't know who they're to, but I know that they were.
Well, they
lost
to Etowanda, lost to Norco and Vista Marietta. So.
That's right. So there you go. There's their 2 losses.
One of the teams they beat here, Dave, is Summit, and let's show that one real quick here. Oh, the top of my head. Here is the Summit game from earlier tonight, and Dante Day on a 23-yard run on an inside handoff for the first score for Summit. Jamal Williams now on a 70-yard run, breaking loose, getting through a few tackles, and he is on his way for a score, and the pink shoes and all, as he takes care of business for Summit. There again, Williams on an 11-yard run to make it 21-0 for Summit, and now Miriam Mesa trying to strike back now. Here's Chase Chambers with a pass to Keandre Pinckney. But they would, actually, I'm sorry, this is, what was the Devin Scott? This is to Pinckney right here. And they would, the drive would end on an interception, and then Summit would score on this 50-yard pass from Bernard Porter to Brandon Mosley, and that was going to be 28-0 on the day there for. Why did that go? Let me go back to that for a second and see. There's nope. Wants to go to that into that clip. So Summit very impressive as they move. What is their record now? 4-1, Dave.
Pardon me.
Summit, they're what are they 4-1 now on the season?
You catch me off guard all the time. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to you. Hold
As usual, I know.
I will straighten. I promise I'll straighten this out, sir. Summit is 4-1. You're correct. Marietta Mesa 4-1.
So Summit is going in Sunkist League play. Do you have that up right now? Are you looking at those standings right now as we talk?
I have not been, but I can be.
Well, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
I got to find the standings first.
We'll figure that out here in a minute.
Here's something about talking about that Redlands East Valley game. We were talking about the teams, the Inland Division versus the Pac-5 Division. Here's an interesting slide we can throw up there to kind of demonstrate.
Right.
The Inland Division now. It's not 5-0 now.
It's 6-4.
It's 5-4. It's 6-4 now,
right,
with the victory of Redlands East Valley over Mission Viejo. But if you take a look, Orange Lutheran on September the 9th defeated Los Osos 36-21. Then North goes and defeats Alemany 36-35 on the 16th. And if you look on the 16th, it was pretty much a split between the two divisions. You had Centennial defeating Mater Dei 28-20. You have Corona losing to Fountain Valley 28-10, Tesoro defeating Chino Hills, and take that back. Where'd I go here?
Tesoro
and North
right.
North and Alemany. There were
right.
4 games there, 2 from the Inland, 2 from the Inland. On the 23rd of September, Damien loses to Bishop Amat 28-7, and then last week, Upland defeats Loyola 38-23. Chaparral defeats Tesoro 24-6, and Vista Marietta defeats Crespi 38-20.
That's a clean sweep. I mean,
clean sweep.
That's an impressive
night. And then again tonight, we don't know what the Damien score is yet, but we do know that Redlands East Valley defeated Mission Viejo 10-7.
I got a feeling that Damien will lose that game to Jay Serra.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just got a feeling there that could be the case. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Damien. I mean, that's a good program, but they've already lost one game to a Pac-5 team that's ranked. That would be Bishop Amat. That was back on September 23rd. But I mean, again, if you look at that, North beating Alemany at the time. Alemany, I believe, was ranked 5th in the Pac-5. Mater Dei has not been, I think, ranked at the time because they've kind of started off slowly. But the big wins there would be Upland defeating Loyola, Vista Marietta defeating Crespi, and then of course North beating Alemany. Those teams were all ranked in there. And the Upland Loyola game was really big.
Some ways it seems a bit overrated.
Who does?
Just the Orange County teams.
Right. Well, we haven't seen.
They always seem to come in as the team with the more pedigree, with the better pedigree, and we seem to be handling ourselves.
I don't know. How would you rate this though? I mean, as far as the biggest, I mean, obviously the Rev one that's the signature win for the season. It might be a signature win for the program.
I mean, for Rev, I think that the victory of North defeating Alemany, where Alemany was at that point, I think that's pretty impressive. And Centennial, anytime they can beat Mater Dei, it's a good thing.
Well, I mean, Rev hasn't even been on the radar.
No.
You know, they haven't even ranked. I mean, but, you know, in the state level. We'll have others talk about that later on who are probably more knowledgeable of the state rankings. But that's a huge one for Rev. And, you know, I can't tell you what's going on with the Inland Division at this point. So, what's that? Oh, Rev. Rev highlights. We're going to get some Rev highlights. Or at least get these loaded up into the computer and get these ready to go here. Just again, we talked about, you know, it was funny, Dave. We were talking about something the other day about original names of programs, you know, like their nicknames, you know. You were talking about
Yes.
Tonight was Huskies versus Huskies, and really North older the two schools. And
Well, they're the original Huskies.
well, and the Centennial fans tonight were really kind of rubbing it in a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, they were saying, you know, oh, we're the original, we're the top dogs, you know.
Yeah, but the OGs are still
Right.
still North.
But I remember we were talking about, you know, Merida Mesa, right?
Yeah.
And they're the Rams, and we're talking about other teams of Rams. Well, we forgot one. I can't believe you forgot it because you used to live right next to the store, to the school.
I pointed that out when we
Ramona?
were talking about. Yes, Ramona
You didn't
Ram.
point it out yesterday.
I did too.
You didn't remember. You asked me yesterday.
Lewis, you're a revisionist historian.
No,
you know
no,
that?
absolutely not.
You're
Absolutely not.
always remaking history.
No, I'm not. You were like scratching your head the other day. He was like this. Everybody was like, I don't know, Rams. Who else has Rams? And I was like, I don't know. And then it dawned on me this morning that it was Ramona.
You know, I should have more damage on my body for the number of times you throw me under the bus.
That's what I do. That's how you get ahead in this world.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, by the way,
Right.
you know, we probably need to pay some attention to some people that are helping us out here at the show. Paradise Chevrolet and Cadillac is a new sponsor here with the show. And, of course, the scoreboard is the Paradise Chevrolet
There you
and
go.
Cadillac
Let me throw that up there
scoreboard.
real quick.
Standard for excellence there at Paradise. It's down to Temecula, isn't it, Lewis?
Yeah, they do Chevys and
Cadillacs.
I'll give you a minute to see here in a second, but I've got the Rev highlights coming up, and let's just take a look at these for a second before Pep comes on. Let's just bother Pep with this. Let me see here. Here they come. Here's Mission Viejo, and I don't know what's going on, but we'll have Pep here in a minute. But look at that. Look at that crowd.
So
dude.
that's like quarterback high school, right?
Right.
That's where all the name the guys: the
Marinovich.
Johnsons, Marinovich.
Well, I don't think Marinovich go there.
What
He went
about
to Capistrano Valley.
what about Sanchez?
Yeah, Sanchez went there.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the great Orange County quarterbacks? Look at Rev's defense. Ouch.
Smothering.
Well, you know, we looked at that earlier against Sangia, how good that defense was. Nice little, just like basically shot putted that to here. Nice footage by that camera operator. Unlike the one yesterday, huh? For the Ramona game. Little field goal. This is and then a punt here. And oh, looks like Rev's going to recover. And for the touchdown, that's it. That's all the scoring they would need in this game. Tremendous win on the night for Redlands East Valley. A key interception there. You guys are watching this with us for the first time, and we'll have Pep here in a minute to see what's going on. And Rev on fourth down stops Mission Viejo. And they win this game. A big win for the Wildcats at the University of Redlands. Tremendous. No, pretty good night. Pretty good night. Yeah, Dave and I were having a conversation about teams that had originally had original mascots. So teams like the North Huskies, and you know that subsequently has followed by other schools that have called themselves the Huskies. I mean, that Centennial being the biggest one. The Cougars, originally Beaumont, and then you had Norco, and then you had Canyon Springs, kind of in that order. So we're talking about whether or not it was correct for them to have these in there. Here comes Pep. He's ready to go. Let me see if he's on camera one. Here he is. Here's Pep. Oh, that's Zink's hand. There he is. Pep Fernandez is getting ready to go on HS Game Time Live here in a moment. And we'll go through the scores here. 52-34, the win for Centennial over North. Big win of the night. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But again, 10-7, the win for Rev on a very light night here in week 5. A lot of schools not playing tonight. They're taking the bye. And we'll be right back with more here on HS Game Time Live after these messages from our sponsors. We'll be right back with more.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet. Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche or Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bar's Furniture. If you've got to come down and see what's new, we're now carrying Simply Amish. All solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bar's Furniture. Voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
We are back with more results here on a pretty busy Friday night, even though we don't have very many games going on. Let's go back to the Big 8 League again. We'll talk about that one. Centennial, the big win tonight on with the win over North, 52-34. Never in doubt. I mean, it was a rout from the start. Romello Goodman took it to the house on like the first possession of the game, and 3 touchdowns for him, 3 touchdowns for Hayden Gavitt, the quarterback, who looked fabulous tonight running the ball. Another shocker on the night, Santiago beating Norco 49-22. So the Big 8, 2 teams emerging in the Big 8 right now, Centennial and Santiago. But I really think Centennial is a team to beat in that league, obviously. Corona gets a win over King, 17-3. And Roosevelt bounces back from the loss to Norco, 50-21, the win there. All right, Inland Valley League, Rancho Verde asserting itself again, continuing its streak of dominance in the league. They win tonight 38-3. La Sierra, a big win tonight, improving their unbeaten season there now. I think they're 4-0 or 5-0 in the season. 30-14 win over Vista del Lago. A little bit closer result than in last week's game for Vista del Lago when they really got rolled over by Ramona. Ramona, of course, won Thursday night against Canyon Springs, so it's winless. In the San Andreas League, Carter has beaten Colton 41-0. They are still undefeated. Rialto has beaten Arroyo Valley 40-0, so 2 big shutouts. But the competitive game of the night was Cajon and San Gregorio, 20-16, the win for Cajon at home against San G, which is now 1-4 on the season. Cal Lu beating Hesperia Christian in Agape League action. That is 30-14 win over Hesperia Christian. Newview Bridge beating Central Valley Academy 36-24. Nemo Leadership Academy beating Riverside Christian tonight 26-22. Beaumont beating Manning 38-0 in the battle of the wagon wheel, as Dave Zink likes to point out. Paloma Valley beating Bloomington 33-13. Pep Fernandez in the house. Let me get Pep on the line there. Pep, are you in there, buddy?
I'm on the line, Lewis.
What are you
Back
up to,
from
man?
The University of Redlands, Ted Runner Stadium.
How'd you like that? It was your first game there, right?
Wow, you know what? Rev's defense is no joke. We already knew they were good because they had shut out 3 of the 4 teams they faced so far this season. But to see them up close against I think you mentioned this, Mission Viejo's got a very good offense, and their head coach is a quarterback guru, Bob Johnson. To see them shut down the Diablos offense like that was amazing.
Well, let's get to that game real quick. You want to go to that game?
Yeah, do we have the highlights?
I got the highlights up and ready to go.
Let's do it.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, from Ted Runner Stadium, the University of Redlands, the campus.
I'm sorry, Dave, or Pep, hold on a second. Let me get this ready to go here.
Well, I can tell you, though, that Redlands East Valley came into this game looking to knock off Mission Viejo, who in many these polls, the statewide polls, Mission Viejo came in at number 3. Their only loss was the Don Bosco Prep, who is the nation's #1 team out of New Jersey. So there is the Diablos, and here come the Wildcats, fired up and determined not to lose on their home turf. In the first quarter, it's Kyle Fitz. This guy was a monster tonight. He's got the sack. Marcus Smith also in on the play. Kurt Brooks' team looking to knock off the Diablos with that stingy defense. Later, Fitz, he's going to lead a host of Cats on another sack on the Diablo quarterback. Now we move to the second quarter. The Wildcats are looking to move the ball. Austin DeCoux to Jesse Riley. Hauls in the catch, takes it all the way down to about the 10-yard line. And that would set up this. David Massour bangs it through the uprights and gives Redlands East Valley the 3-zip lead. Then later in the second quarter, here's the Wildcats' only score of the day. Rev, back to punt. Brian Sanchez booms one. It's bouncing around. It must have touched a Diablo player because Tanner Shreve races down, scoops it up, and that's a touchdown. The crowd at Ted Runner going crazy. And Shreve gives the Wildcats a 10-0 lead. But before halftime, Mission Viejo had a chance in the red zone to battle back in this one, but Daniel Gonzalez takes the tip ball, and that's an interception, so it stays 10-0 at halftime. Now we fast forward to the fourth quarter. It's still 10-0, fourth down at the goal line for Mission Viejo, and the Wildcats defense comes up with a huge stop to keep them out of the end zone. Mission Viejo would tack on one late touchdown, but it would not be enough. Redlands East Valley gets it done, 10-7, your final score. So congratulations to the Wildcats, a huge win for them as the Inland Division teams continue to dominate against some of these schools from the Pac-5. So Mission Viejo is obviously in those conversations when you're talking about state bowl games. So now maybe Redlands East Valley can enter that conversation. Obviously, Centennial of Corona, in our area at least, gets a lot of that attention, as well as Vista Murrieta. But now Rev kind of enters that picture for the state on the state radar, and maybe the Wildcats can be a potential contender when it comes to these state bowl games late in the season. There's still a long road in front of them. I just asked you, what was it like for you to go to the mighty U of R with a big game there? It was a pretty impressive crowd there, huh? It was. The place was packed. Rev fans pile up that place. They got a good fan base there. The kids, it's a lot of it. The whole center section was the student body, right? And those kids were going nuts. It made it feel like a real home field advantage because Rev doesn't have their own field technically on campus. They played a
nothing better than a big game at the U of R. That's for sure. I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, it just feels too like you said it best. I mean that Rev looks physically, defensively very scary.
What they did, Mission Viejo, as we said, coming in, their only loss was to Don Bosco Prep, the #1 team in the nation. The nation, not just the Pac-5 or California, the nation. So you knew these guys were good. They were number 3 ranked in the state. Their offense could pile up the points, and for Redlands East Valley to limit them to just 7 points is quite amazing. Granted, the Cats didn't get a single offensive touchdown, but they didn't need it. Their defense has been the staple of this team so far this season. Right. 3 of their first 4 games were shutouts, and tonight the Wildcats defense, they did it again against a very good Diablos team, and now they're 5-0 and maybe have their sights set on a big-time postseason bowl game.
Well, we were talking about how the Inland Division is really pretty much owned the Pac-5 right now. They moved to 6-4, could be 6-5 by the end of the night, but still, as they go into league play, that's a very impressive record against what's considered to be the Southern Section's best division. Including big wins, and this is obviously the latest in the big wins. Last week was a trifecta of impressive wins with Chaparral over Tesoro, Upland beating Loyola, and then of course Vista Murrieta beating Crespi on the road.
It's going to be a great postseason. I know that.
That camera operator was right there down in the middle of it, Pep.
Yeah, man, that guy was really good. I mean, it's like watching ESPN or something like that.
It's better than that guy last week.
Yeah, that guy who shot last night was awful.
Oh,
I mean,
my goodness.
We had to get rid of him and get this new guy in
Right.
who shot this beautiful video. But yeah, that was. Here's the only touchdown. It appears it must have hit that Diablo player.
Right.
And there's a mad scramble. 42 was there, but then 43, Tanner Shreve.
Should we back it up and
Hit the rewind button.
Hit the rewind button. Let's see what if you see something, just stop me. Here's the.
All right, so here's the kick, the punt. Rev was back. They punted off. And number 7's looking at the ball. Then number 1's going to enter the picture. He doesn't see it. He's got his back to the ball. It must have clipped his heel, is what I'm assuming. And then it was a mad scramble. The Wildcats saw that.
You really can't tell, huh?
No, it must have hit his. I mean, because he's not even looking at the ball. He's
Zink just threw the camera operator under the bus, saying, "I think it's a bad camera angle."
Man, he really did,
pick it
didn't
up?
he? He really did. Thanks,
Did he pick
Zink.
it up?
If it touched him, it must have just glanced him.
What
But
if it-
obviously,
what if it touched him like right there on his see how
on his thigh,
right, and then it just goes down, and then 42's there to pick it up.
Well, 42 kind of pushed the ball along, but it was 43, Tanner Shreve, eventually falling on it in the end zone for Redlands East Valley's only touchdown of the game, but it would be enough. And that was a huge, as we said, their defense has been doing it all year long, so it's no surprise that defense, a.k.a. special teams, comes up with a touchdown to help the Wildcats. And then there, Daniel Gonzalez making a huge interception to keep the Diablos out of the end zone. They took a shutout into halftime, as we mentioned. Mission Viejo only scored late in the game. This was in the fourth quarter. They had 4 downs to try to punch the ball in the end zone from the doorstep, and Rev's defense did it again. So 10-7 your final score. And for the Wildcats. And I had heard from some of the players on the sideline this would be the signature win for Redlands East Valley, maybe the biggest win in their program's history. So and they did it.
It would have to be up there. I mean, it has to be one of the best wins. I mean, obviously when they beat Colton a few years ago in that dramatic CBL championship game, that was one that's going to stand out. I mean, I've heard good friends of mine say that's the best game they've ever seen, high school football, college. You know, it was so exciting. This has got to be. What was it like trying to get out of there? I mean, were people going crazy or?
Actually, I left to get back here. I left with about when they stopped them on 4th and goal.
Right.
Rev got the ball back with about 7 minutes to play, and up to that point, Mission Viejo could do little against that Wildcats defense. So I said, I'm rolling the dice. I'm not a betting man, but I was going to roll the dice and hope and pray that the Wildcats defense would come through, keep the shutout, well, at least the win intact, and they did. So
52-30, or 52-30 or 52-20 is when I left the Centennial.
That leads a little safer than my 10-0 game.
I probably could have left. I probably could have left it after the first quarter.
Yeah,
the first quarter took like an hour and a half.
You know, I was surprised about that one. It seems like we had polar opposites. My game was a real battle. You know, field position. It was a struggle to move the ball, and
my game was never close.
Centennial and North,
it was never close. I mean, it was like from the start. Centennial was just like bam, 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 bam. You know, we'll see. I'm gonna go get the highlights here in a minute. So Dave, can you run through the scores and let Pep run through the scores?
Yeah, and our scores now brought to you by Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac in Temecula. Standards for excellence. So we want to thank those fine folks down in Temecula at Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac for joining the HS Game Time Live team. We very much appreciate it. So we're going to run through the scoreboards. And
the other big shocker of the night was Santiago thumping Norco tonight, 49-22.
See, I'm not shocked by that because Jeff Steinberg and I, we go way back.
Oh, sorry, you had him
way back.
You covered him at Burroughs, right?
The Burroughs,
right?
And Jeff Steinberg's teams, they scored a lot of points.
They scored a lot
good.
Of points.
Yeah.
Now, did they come when you were in Bakersfield? Did they come down and play Bakersfield a lot, or did they play?
You know what?
They
played like Tehachapi. I know they played because they had some pretty good teams up there. They played St. Bonaventure. I remember one year we went up to the high desert up in Ridgecrest. And
how long of a drive is that from Bakersfield?
Oh boy, it was like 2 hours.
Right?
It's way up there. It's way up there in the middle of nowhere. But Jeff Steinberg had a good team. He had some D1 kids. His quarterback, I think, went to Wyoming, Karsten Sween. So Jeff Steinberg, I know, always has a good offense. So I'm not completely shocked that Santiago was able to beat Norco. I mean, a lot of people.
He's a good coach, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And I mean, Norco was a good team. So I think some people are maybe shocked that Santiago won, but I mean the gap, the score was maybe a little shocking.
You know what I like about
22.
him? What I like about him too is that he really does. You know, he's always out there with a video camera.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's always got filming his guys and making sure they're set right. And
Breaking down tape.
Breaking down tape.
Breaking
right.
down tape.
So we got the Rev win. We got everything else, and I'm getting the thumbs up sign. Okay, we'll have Pep go through it. You ready? Okay, Pep.
We got the scoreboards.
Got the scoreboards. Here they come.
Brought to you by our fine friends from Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac. There it is, North. Not coming up big time against Centennial. This one, the Huskies. All Huskies battle. Centennial 52-34. So Centennial's putting their stamp on the Big 8 right now as the team to beat once again. Also in the Big 8, Corona and King. Corona gets their first win of the season, 17-3 over King.
How far are you away from?
Also from the Big 8, Santiago and Norco, we just mentioned it. Santiago, they improved to 2-0 in the Big 8, as does Centennial, with a 49-22 victory over Norco. Some people a little bit surprised about this final with the Sharks getting it done against Norco. And Roosevelt, they hammer Riverside Poly. I'm surprised by this one a little bit. I saw Poly play. The Gritty Gutty Bears. They lose, though, tonight, 50-21 in the Big 8. Also tonight on the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac scoreboard, the Inland Valley League, the Rancho Verde. They're 5-0, beating Valley View 38-3.
And upstart Valley View, by the way.
What's that?
And upstart Valley View, by the way.
Yeah, Valley View was 5-0. Michael Harrison, we had him on the HSGT Roundup the other night. He had high hopes for his Valley View Eagles this season with a 5-0 start. They knocked off Arlington last week, but could not get it done. Speaking of Arlington, they bounced back. They beat Moreno Valley 17-3. Moreno Valley's 0-5 at this point.
Thursday night game.
Also the Inland Valley League, Thursday night football.
Ramona Canyon Springs. Are we're gonna show those highlights? No? I would love to show those highlights, but I'm not sitting anywhere near the highlights.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Maybe we'll
run
get to
through
them
the
later.
scores, and then we'll get to the highlights.
Well, we can
again.
tell you that Ramona won that one 35-15, and we do have some of those highlights. They're on our website right now if you want to check them out on the HSGT Roundup from yesterday. Also, there it is, 35-15. Ramona, after going winless in 2010, they're 2-0 in league play, 3-2 overall. All right, also from the Inland Valley League, La Sierra, they improved to 5-0. Watch out for them. They win 30-14 against Vista del Lago. They're still looking for their first win of the season. From the San Andreas, Cajon, the number 2 team in the Central Division, they hang on against San Gorgonio 20-16. So San G putting up a fight against the Cowboys. Also from the San Andreas, Rialto taking on Arroyo Valley, and Rialto tosses the shutout, 40-0. Also from the San Andreas, Carter blanks Colton, 41-0. So Colton's still winless. Carter's 4-0. And that's from the San Andreas.
No score there. Sorry about that, Pep.
And in non-league score, Vista Murrieta, they continue their dominance. They are the number 1 team right now in the HSGT rankings. That could change after tonight. They win 37-0 against Pacific Palisades. Summit, Murrieta Mesa. Some people thought this might be close. Murrieta Mesa took an undefeated record into the game against the Skyhawks, but the Skyhawks are absolutely loaded. 49-0. Summit goes on the road. They pick up that big win. Chaparral at Indio. I heard Chaparral had a little bit of trouble out there in the desert.
They actually trailed 10-0, so they came back with 28 unanswered points to win that one, keeping Indio from their first win of the year.
Goodness, but you can never count out the Pumas. They pounced back 28-10. They pick up the victory. Also in non-league, Paloma Valley and Bloomington. Paloma Valley wins 33-13. They're 3-2 on the season. Bloomington falls to the same record. Jurupa Valley and Paris. Jurupa Valley still has not been beaten this season. 4-0-1 is where their record stands right now. They won 15-6 at Paris. Beaumont and Banning. Now hold on. I got a note right here.
The wagon wheel.
Yeah, the war for the wagon wheel dating back to 1929. And Beaumont hammers Banning 38-0. Banning is 0-5.
Pep, do you think it's now for like a spoked rim?
It's degraded from the wagon wheel.
Well, I mean, no, just to move it forward to the 21st century, or the 20. I mean, it would be, wouldn't it be like a Krager SS rim?
Yeah, because it used what is it like? It's a Stagecoach wagon wheel, right? Is
Right.
What they're referring to.
Yeah, because they're Stagecoach USA.
Yeah, it should be like some lowrider, like rolling on 20s, like Dubs. You'd see in like a rap video. One of those, nice shiny chrome.
Exactly.
Anyways, I digress.
And here's the game you were at, Lou.
Oh man, this was the game of the century, at least in my books. Redlands East Valley defeating and holding off Mission Viejo 10-7. That Wildcats defense is nasty. Also non-league, Linfield Christian. Real battle here, like the other game, 10-6, low scoring contest in this one. So California Military Institute coming up 4 short, losing 10-6. Kaiser and Hesperia, the Cats get back in the win column. They defeat Hesperia 45-10. They're 3-2 on the season. Patriot and Victor Valley. Patriot goes up to the high desert, and they get it done. 14-zip, your final score.
Miriam's crying. It's her high school.
Oh, she went to Victor Valley?
I'm not saying it too loud. I don't want to hurt her feelings.
I send my condolences from the Pacific, from the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac Sports Update desk here.
Thank you.
Rim of the World, Desert Hot Springs. Classic battle between these two schools. 49-22. Crane Lutheran and Sherman Indian. Was this a Thursday game?
No, that was tonight.
That was tonight? Okay, there was a Thursday game looming out there. I couldn't remember which one it was. But Crane Lutheran, we can tell you this. They're 5-0. They hammered Sherman Indian 56-zip. El Rancho and Fontana, man, faux high. They dropped to 0-5. They lose 35-zip, your final score non-league.
Hey, real quick,
action.
a huge win on the night. Pacific has won over San Bernardino 24-7.
Wait.
We're double checking that one.
Hey, no. Aubrey is saying that the Banning Beaumont final was 37.
So we're still working on some final scores to get them sorted out here.
We believe that Pacific has won to snap a 20-game losing streak, Pep. So that's a big one.
What was the final there,
I think it
Lewis?
was 24-7. Go ahead and give that to him.
So those were all the scores from the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac
Not really.
scoreboard.
Oh, we got more.
We got more scores.
More scores.
Oh my
wait,
gosh.
Hold on. I got to go back to where.
Hold up.
I lost my place. Okay, so we got that one right.
We got faux high. I think we ended on faux high.
There you go. Eisenhower, Etiwanda defeating Eisenhower 50-7. Eisenhower 2-3, Etiwanda 3-2. That was a Thursday night game. And of course, Bloomington Christian taking the long boat ride over to Avalon to pick on those. I don't know what they are. What are they? The Island Dwellers? I don't know.
They might be the Eagles.
Eagles.
I don't know.
Maybe they're the Seahawks.
Maybe this should be the Islanders.
the Islanders.
I don't know.
What was the name of the ball from that Tom Hanks movie where you're stuck on a Wilson? Maybe
Wilson.
They should be the Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah, that's right.
They're the what? They're the Lancers, by the way.
Zeke, here's what I want to know. How did they get all the entire football team and all their equipment to the football field by golf cart? That's a lot of trips, right? That's a lot of trips to the from the boat to the football field.
Well, they've got those really long ones that they have for like tourist destinations. They probably they take like 9 loads of 8 kids each.
There you go.
Okay, so and then we also have Laguna Beach just pummeling Harupa Hills here. And then, that's last week. We don't want to look at that. Sorry.
Oh, man.
I wanted to go to the Pacific score. I was trying to find it for you so that we could, I guess I don't know where it's at.
Well, we can tell you it was 24-7. Pacific snaps a 20-game
and there it is.
Streak. There it is. Zeke, your magic.
Yeah, I don't know. Drexler's not here this week, and I just feel completely out of place.
Well, you're really coming up big time. Without Chris Ercole here, we're really having to scramble to make this happen. But even without our rock in the middle, we're able to get this done tonight. And I'm sure he might be listening. I don't know. He's in the Big Easy, so it's not past his bedtime. So I'm sure he's probably up and watching his favorite show, HS Game Time Live. So Pacific snaps that 20-game losing streak. All right, Linfield Christian. We got some highlights from down. Can I say down south? Is that fair to say? Down south. Yeah, that's fair to say. Linfield Christian taking on, was it CMI? California Military Institute. Got those guys into the show. We have some highlights from down there in the southern end of the area. Linfield got on the board just seconds before halftime. Taylor Stevenson ran it in from 5 yards out. CMI's big running threat, Austin Cooper, Held in check, though, for most of the night, but he had a nice run there. CMI scores on a short run by quarterback Cesar Mejia, but the Rough Riders would miss the extra point, and they trailed 7-6. Linfield converts a first down on a pass from Stevenson here to Logan Wakefield, hauls it in, and that will move the chains for Linfield. Austin Piles then connects from 50 yards out. It's all good. 10-6. The Lions take the lead. Mejia later completes a pass to Richard Blackman. And then Cooper rips off a big gainer here, but the drive would end in an interception. So they come up empty on that drive. Later, Nick Marino gets his third interception of the night for Linfield coming up. I guess this guy was everywhere. 3 interceptions. That's a huge night for a defensive back. And the Lions would clinch their victory, their fourth INT coming up. Linfield beats CMI of Paris 10-6, your final score. So very similar to the Redlands East Valley Mission Viejo battle for Middle Earth that I went to. 10-7, 10-6. Summit highlights? I would love to do Summit highlights. You know, Summit will always have a special place in my heart because Summit was the first school I saw when I moved down here. First day on the job, you guys said, hey, you're doing a, what is it, the Sunkiss League preview. You're going to go out to Summit High School. I was like, where's Summit? So I met, it's been a love affair ever since with Tony Brill and all the Skyhawks out there. It was wonderful. My man, Richie Brajas, went out there with me, and we did a little preview action. It was annual Pink Out at Murrieta Mesa for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's Dante Dion, Neon Dion from 23 yards out for the first score. Then later, Jamal Williams. Tons of good skill players for the Skyhawks. From 70 yards out, are they going to... They don't get him. Skyhawks' second possession ends with another touchdown there by Jamal Williams, 14-zip. Then Williams scores from 11 yards out on that run, 21. Now the Mesa trying to get something going here. Chase Chambers to Devon Scott for the big gain downfield, down to the 30. And then Chambers connects with Keandre Pinckney to put the Rams in scoring position. But the Skyhawks came up with an interception to end that drive, and they would capitalize. Bernard Porter rolls out, the quarterback hooks up with Brandon Mosley. That was a 50-yard touchdown strike, and Summit goes on to blank the Murrieta Mesa Rams by a final score of 49-0. So those are some of the scores and highlights that we're bringing to you. I see we've got Rancho Verde and Valley View highlights right here coming at you pretty soon. We'll probably rehash the Centennial North game as well as the Redlands East Valley taking on Mission Viejo battle out there. So, and we'll bring you all the scores as we run through them, as well as the highlights, and we'll even have some analysis for you. So keep it right here on HS Game Time Live.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche or Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bar's Furniture. If you've got to come down and see what's new, we're now carrying Simply Amish. All solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bar's Furniture. Voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
Breaking it down with Eric Paul Johnson, a.k.a. EPJ. That's what those homies call him, EPJ. But we were talking about the Mission Viejo. Bob Johnson's the coach, his son. Rob, USC quarterback, NFL quarterback. And I believe it was kind of hard to tell. He had a beanie on, but I think he was on the sidelines as well.
Yeah, he's usually at a lot of the Mission Viejo games. So
apparently whatever they talked about wasn't enough because that Redlands East Valley defense came up huge against a Diablos team that probably does not struggle scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, and to think that, Rev in 5 games has only given up 19 points, 7 to Mission Viejo, 12 to Dorsey, a team that beat Alamany a few weeks ago, which was a top 10 state-ranked team. So, yeah, definitely throws Rev big time into the state bowl consideration. Cal High Sports, which does their official weekly bowl picks every week, only had Redlands East Valley 20th in the South, but expect them to rise up the rankings right now. They're not even in the top 25 state rankings, but that'll change this week.
Okay, EPJ, we're going to get to Centennial North in just a second, but real quick, we're looking at some of the Rev against Mission Viejo. Their defense was all over the place. Kyle Fitz was just a monster.
Yeah, Kylie, I think it's Kylie.
Is it Kylie?
Yeah, I believe it is Kylie, yeah.
He was a the whole line was great, but Fitz was just causing a ton of fits, I guess you could say, for the Diablos. I mean, he was just all over the place.
Yeah,
and
I think at the beginning of the year, Coach Brook was telling the prep dog there that, he's the guy to watch on their defense.
And I believe he's only a junior.
Yes.
And he's already a monster. It was only, they only needed a couple decent plays on offense to move the ball a little bit. There's the field goal, and then their defense came up big, and then special teams. They scored that touchdown off the punt coming up here. We were trying to break down the video. It looks like the ball maybe hit the kid's his heel or maybe his thigh coming back down. But either way, the Wildcats knew exactly what to do. They pounced on the ball. 43, Tanner Shreve would eventually fall on it in the end zone for the Wildcats' only touchdown. So, are you impressed now? I mean, they've had some quality wins. They've had some shutouts already to their record this season, but to beat a team like Mission Viejo,
that's the definite signature win. Now, a lot of people who might have been doubting Rev became a believer. I was talking to some people on the Centennial sidelines, and they said when they saw the score against Chino Hills last week, that 34-0, they said, okay, that's going to be a team to watch because Chino Hills is a pretty strong team, even though they're 2-3. But yeah, when people kept asking me on the Centennial sidelines, have you heard an update on Rev Mission Viejo? And when I kept saying 10-0, and we got to the third quarter, and it was still, a shutout, and they were just like, how is Rev shutting out Mission Viejo? And that was definitely, something that was impressive to people out there on the sidelines. And people are just saying, this playoffs in the Inland Division is going to be extremely fun. When you think of Centennial, what they can do offensively, you think of Vista Murrieta, now Rev, and of course Upland in this mix as well. You have 4 probably potential top 20 teams in the state all in one playoff division down the road. So,
all right, we're going to get to some Centennial North video in just a second. Talk about these HSGT rankings, which could shuffle a little bit come next week. But Redlands East Valley is the first inland team to beat Mission Viejo since Temescal Canyon, which EPJ was at that game in 2000. So
that was the opener in 2000, and kind of was a stunning. Wasn't one of the maybe perennial great Mission Viejo teams, but definitely was a big win. Coach Bob Burt coaching that Temescal team.
All right, so Redlands East Valley picks up the big win. There's Centennial and North. I think a lot people thought going into this that North had maybe turned the corner, was ready to challenge Norco, which we'll get to Norco in a little bit, but
Right.
before we talk about them, but maybe North was ready to challenge Centennial in the Big 8, and Centennial just maybe it was the home field advantage. I'm not really sure, but what was it? I mean, Centennial, are they just that
They're too big. They're
better
too big
than-
up front for North.
Yeah.
I think that offensive line dominated this game. Coach Logan basically said, "We knew North could match us with the speed on the outside. Our goal was to play downhill football, go run the ball right up the middle at them." And you see that line. They got John Hamilton back at center after missing last week's game with an injury. And, North a tough time tackling. And, one of the big storylines in this game was the fact that Aaron Peck, you see him number 3 out there, injured his ankle. His first catch, a 42-yard catch, injures his ankle. And he was actually the one guy on defense who was stuffing some plays. So they ended up losing their big offensive playmaker and the guy who was making some
He was
things
already
happen on
hurting
defense.
before they even started. I mean, he was already not feeling good. You could see him limping before that touchdown.
Right, and like I said, because earlier in the game he had a 42-yard catch that wasn't a touchdown. That's when he originally injured the ankle, and he sat out the end of the first quarter. Most of the second quarter, they brought him back, and he made that 19-yard touchdown catch and re-injured the ankle. Looked like a lot worse. He had to be helped off by 2 people. So Coach Preda says it is a high ankle sprain. He might miss next week's game. They're just going to have to reevaluate it.
He was writhing down there, that's for sure. You know,
Yeah.
and you made the good point before it even got started that was one of your concerns about North coming into this game was their depth on playing these guys playing both ways. And gosh, I really felt like the pace that Centennial and just their offensive line played so well early on. Those holes that Gavitt and Goodman were running through were ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean that's Centennial. If you watch Centennial, they run that zone read offense, and their idea is get to the line as fast as you can. If the defense isn't ready, they're going to take that run up the middle every single time because it usually gets them at least 7-8 yards. If they see something, if the defense is ready or they see something else, then they'll check up and change. But yeah, I mean, they rolled up 575 yards of offense today. You have some of the big numbers here. Romello Goodman, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had touchdown runs of, 65 yards on the first play from scrimmage, a 1-yarder and a 33-yarder. Hayden Gavitt has 300 combined yards passing and rushing. He has touchdown runs of 15 yards, 42 yards, 62 yards, and he also threw a 34-yard touchdown pass. So, and you got to remember, these guys came out after the first series in the second half. So they missed, more than, that touchdown came. They missed about 8. They didn't play the final 18 minutes of the game, and they still combined for 526 yards. Those 2. So,
well, you're looking basically at just sort of the raw footage here from the game, and you can see really. I think I really noticed too that defensively too they really bothered Justin Georgie a lot as well.
Yeah, he was on the run a lot. There were some times Georgie made a few great plays. The one thing that was open all night for North was right over the middle because they just kept trying to come off the edges. And Marcus Baugh had a pretty big game. Number 7, he's the 6'5" guy over the middle, and they could find some space over the middle, but a lot of times North would get down like they were here, and they settled for 2 field goals. They fumbled on their first possession,
right?
And then they settled for 2 field goals. And anyone who plays Centennial will tell you can't trade field goals. You can't settle for field goals against Centennial because it's just not, at the end it's not going to work in your favor. So, and by the time they get 2 field goals, Centennial had scored 4 touchdowns. So, and Centennial scored touchdowns on its first 6 possessions and 8 of its first 9. So.
Well, you see here that North, seemed to be kind of like,
that was the play over the middle that was open all day for North. But I mean,
that was a big tackle too.
Yeah, big tackle. Yeah, yeah. I believe that's Malik Hall there with that tackle, and
that's not an easy guy to tackle. That Baugh kid.
Baugh, he's 6'5", 235. I mean, he's and only a junior, and he had 7 catches for 132 yards, and he plays 2 ways. He was spent at the end of this game, but stuck it out there, got a late touchdown, which he kind of deserved that one with how much he had to play today, but. It was one of those ones where Centennial came out wanting to make a statement. I talked to John Hamilton, their center, after the game and said, we knew North was motivated for this game. They were 4-0. They wanted a big win. Mm-hmm. And, he kind of said, they're Huskies too, but we're the real Huskies.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you kind of understand why only Norco has beaten Centennial in league since 1999.
That's incredible.
I think they've lost 5 league games in the past 11 years, and they're all to Norco.
Eye-opening. We'll come off this for a second because there's like 20 minutes of footage here, so I'm gonna pull off this and go back to you guys for a second here. So what was the sort of the story? Actually, back to that storyline of the night, as far as you're concerned. I mean, is it the Rev win, or what's your sense of things right now?
I think we looked at. Centennial looks, today cut out the mistakes that have plagued them. Even when they beat Poly 48-6, I led with my story with the fact that Romello Goodman, every time he ran for a long touchdown, probably was looking over his shoulder, wondering, is there a penalty? So they, they cleaned things up today. This was, I asked Coach Logan, this easily has to be your best half of football that you've played all year, and he said, yeah, and he goes, and it was reminiscent of last year's teams. I think they had 446 yards at halftime. They were on pace for almost 900 yards, and Logan pulls his starters at the beginning of the third quarter. So the first team offense gets 535 yards on 9 drives. So definitely good there. But yeah, the Rev win is the big one. To me, the most surprising score though is just Santiago dominating Norco. We don't know what to think of Norco. They looked pretty bad against Upland. They come back and just dominate Roosevelt. And it looks like kind of reading the game story, it looks like the same things that have plagued Norco in losses. They were fumbling the ball away. Michael Dar had a great game back. I think a lot of people know you can throw the ball on Norco right now. So,
all right, so EPJ, Centennial with a convincing win. Mm-hmm. Redlands East Valley with a win against a huge, high-caliber team. Not that Vista Murrieta did anything wrong. They blanked Palisades 37-zip. But when we're talking about those top 3 teams atop the HSGT rankings,
1A, 1B, and 1C.
I know. I mean, what do you do? That is it like musical chairs? You got to take turns of being on top.
There's always that league of vote. There's always the 2 theories of voting. Do you? If a team wins and they're number 1, should they remain number 1 no matter who they play, or do you have to look at what a team did? Like how do you look at LSU when they jumped up, to the number 1 spot or whatever. So, you have to look. Does Revs win over Mission Viejo, probably the biggest win of the season by any team this year, cause them to go from 2 to 1? It's going to be close. I've actually the last 3 weeks voted 3 different teams number 1. I voted Centennial number 1 I voted Rev number 1 3 weeks ago when Centennial bounced back and had a couple big wins. When they beat Chaparral, I was like, okay, I think this is still the best team in the area. I put them number 1. But when Vista Murrieta beat Crespi last week, convincing win, that's there. So it's a tough call. I think you can choose any of those teams, even Centennial with 1 loss, and you're not really making a wrong choice there. Those are 3 clear-cut teams that are separating themselves, and Rancho Verde's still out there undefeated. Who know? It's hard to judge them because
could be a wild card.
They don't have that tough schedule to really judge them against. These other 3 teams have played some of the state's best teams and either beaten them or hung tough with them. So,
and looking at the Inland Division, they have Rev right now number 6. North is 1 spot ahead of them.
Yeah, Rev will move up, and they could even jump. I mean, they're obviously going to jump past North. But yeah, you look at that. Upland in there is, I think, the team a lot of people fear. I mean, I talked to Coach Gerhardt after that game and said this is the team that's going to cause a lot of people trouble.
If you're curious, the Inland Division, Centennial's 1, Vista Murrieta 2, Upland, Rancho Cucamonga, North, Rev, and Norco. Which Norco, I'm assuming, is going to slip now because
Norco and North are going to slip because those are 2 convincing defeats. So.
Yeah, the loss to Santiago. All right, so. If you're just joining us, here is the Inland Division against the Pac-5 Division, another banner night for our local schools with Redlands East Valley defeating Mission Viejo. That Pac-5 Division, if you go down the list, it's just loaded with some of these storied programs that you hear about each and every year, winning CIF titles and state bowl games, and Long Beach Poly, the winningest program in the history of California, this and that. But Inland Division teams, specifically from the Inland Empire area, like from our leagues here, from the Citrus Belt and the Big Eights and the Southwestern League, we've held our own. And as we mentioned last week, Vista Murrieta went on the road to Encino, defeated Crespi 38-20, and the list goes on and on. So Eric, as you look at them side by side, I know a lot of people will get all excited about the Pac-5 division because of the names you'll see on the list, some of these big time schools, but the Inland Division, they've held their own. In fact, we've got the better of them.
Yeah, and if you look at message boards out there, a lot of people belittle the the Inland Division or saying, oh, Centennial, yeah, they can win the Inland Division, but jump up to the Pac-5. Well, number one, it's not their choice.
Yeah.
They don't get to say, oh, we want to play in the Pac-5. That's obviously something that, the CIF Southern section would have to decide. And, it's all you can do is try to schedule these opponents. You look at Centennial this year. They decided, okay, let's go St. Bonaventure. That's not a Pac-5 team. That's obviously a state powerhouse team. They upped their schedule. Vista Murrieta adding Crespi last year to its schedule. Rev putting Mission Viejo on the schedule the last couple of years. And you got to remember, Mission Viejo dominated Rev last year. So, to come back and win this game, that's definitely huge. North beating Alemany. Alemany, Crespi, those were 2 Pac-5 semifinalists last year. The other 2 being Servite and Mission Viejo. So the Inland Division has beaten some big-time powerhouse teams out there. So, and including 3 of the 4 semifinalists from last year. And, in years past, Chaparral played Servite extremely tough, which was the other semifinalist out of there. So, definitely a good year for the Inland Division to prove itself against some of the Pac-5's best teams.
I'm curious to see who comes out of the Inland Division at the end of the postseason and who's going to get that nod for you got to think whoever wins it's going to at least be considered for a state bowl game, whether it's the Open or Division I or whatever, because, it's hard to say at this point if it's going to be Centennial or Vista Murrieta or whoever.
Yeah, and Centennial's still in the mix. I mean, the Open Division, I would say right now, Servite is still the clear favorite. If they
they lost in Nevada, wasn't it?
They did lose to Bishop Gorman, which was like a top 15 ranked team in the nation. If Servite runs the table from here on out, wins the Pac-5 division, I got to think they get that nod in the Open Division. But that still leaves the Division I game open. I think whoever comes out of the Pac-5, if it's 1 loss or no losses, would have to be seriously considered for at least the Division I game. And that even includes Centennial. A lot of people, even myself, were kind of writing off the fact that Centennial may have lost any bowl chances, but they're still considered that powerhouse team. And if they can, whoever, you got to think with how strong the Inland Division now is, say Centennial has to go through Rancho Cucamonga, Redlands, East Valley, and Vista Murrieta to win that title.
That's a gauntlet.
And vice versa. Any team was probably going to have to at least beat 2 top 15 state-ranked teams, maybe 3. Because you got to think Rancho Cucamonga is a good team. Upland's a great team. One of those teams is going to finish second in that league, and one of these powerhouse teams is going to have to probably face that team in the quarterfinals.
Well, let me ask you this. We'll play this what-if game. What if Vista Murrieta or Redlands East Valley wins the Inland Division title, and they have a perfect record, 12-0, 13-0, but Centennial's 12-1. I mean, does it look better when you're undefeated and say, hey, okay, we'll put Redlands East Valley in this game as opposed to maybe Centennial?
Well, first of all, one of this requirement, only one of these teams, Rev, Centennial, Vista Murrieta, only one of them will be eligible for a bowl because you have to win your section, number 1, to be eligible for a bowl. So does a undefeated record look better? Yes. I mean, one of the requirements or in the criteria is record. So, it's going to be interesting. Say you do have a 13-1 Servite team, but a 14-0 Vista Murrieta Rev Upland team. Then they're going to look at strength of schedule. They'll look at perhaps common opponents. So, say Rev wins, and the best thing there would be right now what you would want, like if you're a Rev, you want to finish your season undefeated, and you want Mission Viejo
to have a great season
to win the Pac-5. Because they can't take Mission Viejo over Rev. If those are the 2 champions, they would have to take Rev for the head-to-head victory. So you're going to have a lot of Centennial wins out. They're probably going to want certain teams to win. They probably wouldn't want a Servite to win. But if they can beat, if Crespi were to win it, they could say, hey, maybe we defeated this team, which defeated this team, you get in all that. So, but Centennial did make it to a bowl game their first year in 2007 with 1 loss. That one, that 1 loss being to Mater Dei. So 1 loss doesn't necessarily knock you out, but yes, an undefeated record from the Pac-5 or the Inland Division is going to look very good.
And I guess we'll have to keep an eye on St. Bonaventure and see how their season plays out. If they go undefeated,
Bonaventure's already lost one. They did lose to Oaks Christian. So,
they did. Okay.
So that does hurt Centennial a little bit. So that's going to be interesting.
And then Oaks Christian, I believe they lost last night to was it Westlake?
Yeah.
I think it was. So I don't know. We could play this game all night. Well, so and so beat this team, but this team lost to this team. So what does that really mean? So,
yeah, because we had that in 2007 in the bowl game. You had 3 teams. One team beat this team beat that team, and this team beat that team. So they had to just sit there and say, of these three teams, who had the best credentials. Centennial got the nod in that one. So,
it's a vicious cycle. You could just go in circles all day long and try to figure out.
And it's going to get even. It's even going to get better next season when you add the fact that there is going to be a state semifinal game. So we're going to have a South Division final, where where next year we could be talking about the two Pac-5 champions facing each other to play in the Pac-5 champion versus the Inland Division champion, just to get to the state bowl game to face.
I think it's gonna be fun.
You know,
if they do that.
It's gonna be great football. A lot of people, the opponents are saying you're adding an extra week of football to high school kids. You're gonna wear them out, but you won't have these debates as much of three teams all deserving who gets in. You're going to put four teams out there. They're going to play it out on the field. So, that'll be an interesting thing to see.
I hope the BCS committee's listening to us tonight and getting some ideas. EPJ joining us on Pep Fernandez. We're going to have more scores from the Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac scoreboard coming your way. A lot more highlights. We'll break down all these games, including Centennial dismantling North and Redlands East Valley winning a defensive struggle against Mission Viejo. So those highlights are coming up on deck here on HS Game Time Live. And welcome back to HS Game Time Live. I'm Pep Fernandez. We're just breaking down all these highlights from week number 5, going through the scores provided by Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac and our star performances tonight. We had a bunch of them. How about the Santiago quarterback Michael Darr throwing for 3 touchdowns? He ran for 2 more, and Santiago picked up a big win against Norco. Centennial running back Romello Goodman, all good for the Huskies tailback. 221 yards on 21 carries and 3 touchdowns for Romello Goodman. And Centennial's quarterback Hayden Gavitt, he rushed for 103. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground, and he passed for 134 yards. How about some more star performances? DeAndre KZ, he drives me crazy, from Cajon, scored a 30-yard touchdown with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game as the Cowboys rallied for a win against San Gorgonio. Tim Stewart, the running back at Paloma Valley, 137 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's the birthday boy. Tim Stewart turning 18, so happy birthday, Tim, and great game tonight for Paloma Valley. Brandon Rogers, quarterback at Roosevelt, passed for 344 yards and 3 touchdowns for Roosevelt tonight. Brandon Zudima from Roosevelt, wide receiver, 10 catches, 217 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He must have been the primary target tonight.
Might be Zydema.
Zydema? Yeah. It might be, or do you know, Prep Dog?
I'm just guessing.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with you on that one. You're very good at pronunciation. Zydema. And then Dante Dion, primetime, Neon Dion. 2 interceptions and 3 touchdowns for Summit as they went on the road to beat Murrieta Mesa. And Austin Piles connecting from 50 yards out, a 50-yard field goal for Linfield. And you don't see that too much at the high school level, so congratulations to Austin Piles because you are on the HS Game Time Star Performances list tonight. And we've got the Prep Dog in the house. We've got some more highlights coming up in just a second, but we've got Prep Dog to talk about some of these games. With his, I always give him a hard time. That's his Dale Jr. number 88 AMP Chevrolet hat from the NASCAR world. It's not really though. Prep Dog, Redlands East Valley. I'm sure you've heard the game that a lot of people were hoping to see, and it happened. They knocked off a huge team from the Pac-5. Mission Viejo ranked number 3 in the state according to some polls. So, what do you think?
I not only heard, I was there.
You were at the game as well at Ted Runner Stadium on the fine campus of the University of Redlands. So what do you come away as? I mean, obviously you're going to touch on that Redlands East Valley defense, but what did you come away from that game?
Well, we talk about the possums of Redlands, which you and I have both been in contact with.
They're running loose out there.
And it kind of makes you wonder if Rev was playing a little possum during part of the non-league season. They worked on their passing game a lot when they could have run at times. And, obviously they had to present a balanced offense today, and they did. They had just enough to get by Mission Viejo. But the real story was the defense, which produced 2 turnovers, 3 if you want to count the muff punt by Mission Viejo. And that was really the story of the game, along with a tremendous goal line stand by the Wildcats midway through the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that was huge. Fitz had a big game. Is it Kylie or Kyle?
Kylie.
It is Kylie.
Yeah.
Okay, Kylie Fitz had a huge... I mean, the whole line was dominant, but Kylie Fitz just led a host of Wildcats to really control the trenches. Were you less impressed with Mission Viejo or more impressed with Redlands East Valley's defense because they made the Diablos look so bad? I figured it was the Rev defense.
Yeah, I just think their defense is really for real. I mean, they've given up 19 points all season. If you go down there in the sideline, I mean, they're just huge. They have some big dudes down there, and they're also fast in the secondary. Jamal Ellis is, as Coach Bruick said after the game, if he's not a D1 prospect, who is? And then you look at Lyman Edmund Faimalo, just a tremendous talent. So they've got it going on.
Here was this was just before halftime. I think about 2 minutes to go before halftime. Daniel Gonzalez coming up with that interception there, and I believe they were in the red zone at that point. And then
Daniel Gonzalez had a big game too.
He did. He broke up a lot of passes. This was the goal line stand you were talking about midway through the 4th quarter. That was the 4th down play, and the Rev defense just turned them away.
Yeah, and Trevor Douglas also with a pick for Rev. Kylie Fitz with a big sack. Just a great night for Rev, and they were jubilant as they should be. And Coach Bruick did call it the biggest win in the program's history, so that's notable.
And they were the first inland team to beat Mission Viejo since 2000. It was Temescal Canyon 11 years ago. So they do not lose very often, especially to inland division teams. So I asked EPJ the same question. What does this mean now for the inland division rankings, the HSGT rankings? I mean, Vista Marietta didn't do anything wrong. They blanked Palisades, and Centennial, they clobbered North. I mean, so how does this all kind of shake down now?
Yeah, I don't know. Normally, if you have a team on top, and I don't know, what did Vista Marietta do tonight?
It was 37-zip, I believe, against Palisades. So.
Okay. Well, normally you don't drop a team that has won convincingly from the top spot, but you've got to take a good hard look at especially Centennial with that impressive victory over North, and you've got to kind of look at Rev a little bit, with the big victory they have over an OC team that's been a powerhouse and is ranked number 3 in the state. So I don't know if I had to do it right now, I'd probably put Centennial on top.
I know you're going to be stewing about this all weekend, right? Who are you going to pick number 1? When you're not catching possums?
Yeah, or working night desk. But yeah, I probably will think it over for 4 or 5 minutes.
As we push forward to in the Inland Division, we have Upland and Rancho Cucamonga that figure to be in the mix as well. But who do you like right now? If someone was going to corner you and put you in the corner like a possum and hunt you down and make you pick one.
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
In the Inland Division, who do you like? I mean, because we have to factor in Upland and Rancho Cucamonga as well as contenders to maybe come out of there. But is it too hard to say? I mean, Centennial, Vista Marietta, Rev, Upland, Rancho Cucamonga.
I'm not going to bet the mortgage against Centennial. There's just no percentage in picking against them. They've proven it year in and year out that they're the top dog right now. And until somebody knocks them off, they're going to remain there.
All right, so Centennial is the clear-cut favorite let's go to the Big 8 League. After that, though, it gets kind of a little bit squirrely because Norco lost to Santiago and North got hammered by Centennial. Could it be a log jam after Centennial with maybe Norco, Santiago, maybe, I don't know, does Roosevelt peek their head into this conversation? I mean, how do you see it factoring, after Centennial at the top spot?
Yeah, even though Roosevelt got a good win tonight, it's going to be a tough road for them without Crone, and it does appear to be a log jam. It looks like Santiago's better than people thought, and Roosevelt is still a player even without their QB. And North kind of takes a step back with the tough loss tonight.
All right, so those are from the Big 8. We like Centennial at the top spot, and then after that, it could be wide open after Centennial in the Big 8 League standing. All right, from the Inland Valley League, we had a couple teams who were undefeated. Or actually, I should take that back. Valley View was 5-0. The Rancho Verde also 5-0, I believe. And they went to this huge league collision tonight. Valley View, the upstart Eagles looking to knock off the Mustangs. Early in this one, that's Rico Green taking that one to the house. His first touchdown. It made it 9-zip at that point in the first quarter. Then the Eagles, Valley View, trying to get something going. Quarterback Abraham Nuno completes a pass to Andrew Walker for the first down, but the Eagles would stall on the drive. Later, Rancho Verde connects for 3. That made it 12-zip in the second. Then Valley View, they come back. Sandoval, he boots a field goal in the second quarter to kind of close the gap. They made it 12-3. But Rancho Verde is just loaded. They go to the air on that one. That's a touchdown there for Rancho Verde. They went up 25-3. And the Mustangs are known for their stable of running backs, but they went to the air quite a bit against Valley View. There's another touchdown through the air to make it 31-3. And then it's Breon Redmond running right past Valley View for the Mustangs' final score of the day, and they go on to defeat Valley View 38-3. So we had a battle of undefeateds thinking it might be close, but Valley View comes up empty, losing 38-3 to the Rancho Verde. So Rancho Verde is the number 1 team in the Central Division. You impressed by them, Prep Dog?
Pressure always, and especially during the regular season. I didn't expect them to blow out Valley View quite that much, but they got the job done.
All right, we got more highlights, and we'll get your analysis, Prep Dog, after we look at some of this video. Next up in this one, is this Linfield? Roosevelt taking on Pauley. Here we go. Gilbert Mendez from 33 yards out buries the field goal, 3-zip. Then later, Stephen Ham running 64 yards for the touchdown here. What do you think of those uniforms, Prep Dog?
Kind of reminds me of the flag of Ireland.
I didn't think of it, but you're right. You're dead on there. Later, Brandon Rogers connects with Elijah Mitchell. 56 yards, 16-14. Roosevelt on top. Then James Bernacki is going to punch it in from the 2-yard line here for Roosevelt. They go on to defeat Riverside Pauley and the country of Ireland, 50-22. Your final score. So a solid win for Roosevelt tonight. So they had the green, the orange, and then the pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So it was a real mishmash of clothing for the Bears tonight. But Roosevelt, I saw Pauley. They're a pretty decent team. They're gritty and gutty, but Roosevelt, are they flying under the radar right now?
Roosevelt was pretty highly touted coming in. I think Cal High Sports had them maybe ranked at the bottom of their top 25 at the start of the season. So, no, I wouldn't say that they've flown under the radar. But, with Crone injured, they've had their ups and downs. But obviously they have some good athletes left.
All right, big win.
Talk about under the radar. Where'd that hat come from?
I always because AMP is the sponsor for Dale Jr.'s NASCAR Sprint Cup ride, so I always give him a hard time.
I thought it was a Jets hat. That's what when I first looked at it. Now I can see the AMP on that.
So if any AMP workers are out there, you're more than welcome to sponsor the HS Game Time Live show because Prep Dog already is a walking billboard for you with his AMP hat. So.
Hey, so John, did you ever track down some of the breaking news we had today with forfeits and stuff today, or what was going on there?
Yeah, well, West Valley forfeits to Norte Vista ineligible players. They also forfeited a JV game for those who care, and then Fontana.
I care. Thank you.
Fontana receives a forfeit from Granite Hills, and Antelope Valley forfeits a win against Barstow.
So what's going on with all these ineligible players, or is that the situation?
That was the situation, yeah.
So you're telling me you can't use 30-year-old men to play on your high school football team? Is that illegal?
Don't go town ball on me like
I won't. We'll dodge that conversation and move on. So we have a lot more highlights to get to. We're going to run through the scores. We got Louis Amistoy back at the control helm, and he's going to let us know what's coming up next here on HS Game Time Live.
I'm trying to figure out something. Someone came over and started to distract me on the show.
Was it donuts?
Sorry, no donuts. We don't have. It was funny last week. I got to tell you guys, Drexler, was eating a lot of donuts. We don't have Drexler here tonight. But they ate a lot of donuts last year. Erica Lee and Drexler, they ate like a whole dozen donuts on themselves.
And they're both gone tonight, so there should be more than plenty of donuts for everyme.
Let's go to.
Are we off the air?
No, this conversation
we're gonna
is
go
for everyone.
Let's go to the Summit, Murrieta Mesa. You got your shot list there?
I do. Summit, Murrieta Mesa. Murrieta Mesa had an undefeated record going into this one, and the Skyhawks. I think their only loss was to Etiwanda early in the season, but they have a very good team. That is Dante Dion going in from 23 yards out. And he can also run backwards. No, we're just kidding.
Very nicely, too. What do you think?
Yeah, who knew? A hidden talent from Neon Dion, Dante Dion for the Skyhawks. 23 yards out. He gets it in. Then Jamal Williams, another one of those star skill players for the Skyhawks. This one goes 70 yards, and nobody will get him. That was the Skyhawks' second possession of the game that made it 14-zip. Then Williams from 11 yards away. Get in there, 21-zip Summit. Murrieta Mesa, the Rams trying to get something going on offense. It's Chase Chambers to Devon Scott to move the chains down to the 30, and it's Chambers connecting with Keandre Pinckney to put the Rams in scoring position down around the 15, but the Skyhawks had an interception to stall that drive. Summit, though, scores on this 50-yard pass from the quarterback, Bernard Porter, to Brandon Mosley. That made it 28-zip Summit, and they go on to the easy win, 49-0, your final score. Summit over.
I apologize, Pep,
Murrieta
for
Mesa.
having to hear all of our business over here in the backside.
It's wonderful. We like to know the personal goings
The
on.
repositories, we've been discussing that whole element too. Trying to get the video up into the players. We apologize.
Oh.
Let's go to Rev and Mission Viejo one more time. What do you think?
Now, this was team coverage on this one because myself and the Prep Dog were both at Ted Runner Stadium at the University of Redlands for that one. That was the Diablos. Here come the Wildcats running out of the paper. And that's my guy, Nelson Goins, giving the camera a shout-out from Rev. There's that Kylie Fitz. He's causing all sorts of fits, right, Prep Dog?
He was.
There you go, analysis. He was. Here's Fitz again. That whole line, though, just causing problems, right, for the Mission Viejo offense.
Yeah, as I said earlier, they're very big.
And they got it done.
I got to see that again because it just, I mean, look at how they just swarm all over.
I mean, Fitz might have been the first to the ball, but, the whole line just converged on the quarterback there and brought him down.
I wonder if Mission Viejo has seen a team as physical as Rev this season.
Maybe just that Don Bosco Prep from New Jersey, the nation's #1 team. But Redlands East Valley is something to behold on defense. That's Jesse Riley taking that pass from Austin DeCoux all the way down to about the 10. That set up a David Masur field goal, 3-zip Wildcats at that point. And then here was a bizarre play that led to Rev's only touchdown. Brian Sanchez back to punt, booms one. It's the ball's bouncing around. There's a Mission Viejo returner, had no idea where the ball was at, had his back to the play. It might have bounced off his heel, maybe his thigh. Regardless, though, it was a live ball. Tanner Shreve pounced on it, scored a touchdown for the Wildcats, and made it 10-0. The Diablos had a chance before the break to get on the board. They were driving, but the tip pass lands in the arms of Daniel Gonzalez for the interception, so it was 10-0 at halftime. Now we fast forward to the fourth quarter. 4th down, Mission Viejo at the goal line trying to punch it in, but the Rev defense comes up big. They keep the Diablos out of the end zone. They would tack on a late touchdown, but it was the Rev defense starring in this one, 10-7.
Daniel Gonzalez was happy about that goal line stand.
That was huge. If they punched that one in, maybe it's a loss, right? It could be it's hard to play the hypothetical game, but it could be a 10-7 game with about 7 or 8 minutes still on the clock.
Although, they did come right back and score. I think the key thing was it took minutes off the clock.
Long drive and just kept them out is what it boiled down to. Bend but don't break. Because Mission Viejo, they seemed to move the ball a little bit, but it was always the Rev defense being able to come up with a stop.
Yeah, the DBs were just coming up with play after play, deflecting balls. It looked like guys were out there, open, and the last second the Rev guy would close and knock it down.
And we'll put additional highlights of this Redlands East Valley versus Mission Viejo game here on the website, HS Game Times website. We'll have extended coverage and have more video for you to take a look at, as well as a lot of these other games that we've went to tonight in week number 5. So that was Mission Viejo Rev. The other big game tonight, Centennial and North, and the dominated fashion that the Centennial Huskies were able to showcase against North. And North thought they had a chance in this one. I think a lot of people did, but Centennial overwhelmingly showing why they're still the team to beat in the Big 8.
Is that your car, Pep?
Is that my car? If the fine folks at Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac in Temecula would like to give me one, then yes, it is my car. But
that's a Chevy Volt, man. That's a good looking car.
I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
I think Prep Dog would want one
All right,
as well.
Speaking of Temecula, let's go to the Linfield game.
Oh yeah, Linfield taking on the California Military Institute in this one. Just before halftime, Taylor Stevenson ran it in from 5 yards out. CMI's big running threat, the big fella, Austin Cooper, held in check for most of the night, but he had a nice run there. CMI scores on this short run by the quarterback, Cesar Mejia, but the Rough Riders would miss the extra point, and they trailed 7-6. Linfield, though, converts a first down on a pass from Stevenson to Logan Wakefield. Hauls in the pass. Nice play there to move the chains. And Austin Piles, one of their star performers tonight, from 50 yards out, gives the Lions a 10-6 lead on the field goal. Mejia then completes a pass to Richard Blackman. And Cooper, to the big fella, ripping off another big gainer. But the drive would end in an interception, so they come up empty on that possession.
The fans aren't booing. They're yelling, Coop.
Coop. Are you a big Linfield fan? Nick Marino, his third interception of the night for Linfield. And then the Lions would clinch their victory with their fourth interception of the night. So Austin Cooper and his CMI team come up short against Linfield. Linfield wins against CMI of Paris 10-6, your final score. All right, we've got tons of highlights. We've got the scores coming in. We've got the Prep Dog joining us to break down some of these games. So keep it right here. Much more still to come on HS Game Time Live.
Welcome to Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac, the #1 volume dealership in Riverside and San Diego counties. It's the Chevrolet season of doing. Get behind the wheel of a select new 2011 Chevy model and take advantage of 0% APR financing plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Go for the rugged 2011 Avalanche or Colorado, the rough and tumble Silverado, or even a Suburban, Tahoe, or Traverse model. Hurry into Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac today. We're conveniently located at 27360 Inez Road between Winchester and Rancho California Road in Temecula.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
We're Mr. Marietta Cheer, and you're watching HS Game Time Live.
Hi, it's me, Alicia Renna from Bar's Furniture. If you've got to come down and see what's new, we're now carrying Simply Amish. All solid wood and American made, handcrafted and signed by each artist that builds your furniture. Simply Amish makes every type of furniture for your home. They use 5 different species of wood and have over 50 different colors to choose from. So come in and come home to Bar's Furniture. Voted #1 in 2010 by the Press Enterprises Reader's Choice Awards. We're located at 5664 Mission Boulevard in Riverside.
Centennial taking on North, and Centennial just having their way against the other Huskies team. And the final score in that one was 52-34 was the final score. So we're going to start with the Big 8, I believe, and run down a bunch of these scores and tell you how they did. We'll thank our friends at Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac in Temecula. Standards for excellence. And here it is. They're bringing you the scores tonight from the Big 8. There it was, 52-34. Centennial getting the job done. Santiago and Norco. Prep Dog, we were just talking about this. A little surprised, right? I mean, Norco, they've been kind of up and down. We thought they were going to be pretty good, and maybe Santiago's just better than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Steinberg has been doing it a long time, up at Burroughs High, and then
Love
Miller.
The Burroughs.
Yeah, Burroughs,
Yeah.
and then at Miller, and now at Santiago. He's been successful everywhere he's been. He's won a section title. So, yeah, surprise tonight, but not that much of a stunner.
And rumor has it Santiago plays Centennial next week. That could be fun.
It could be.
Also in the Big 8, Roosevelt, they take out their aggression against Riverside Poly, 50-21. To the Inland Valley League, the Rancho Verde, battle of undefeateds, and 38-3. Rancho Verde takes out Valley View. Arlington, Moreno Valley. Arlington wins 17-3. Also from the Inland Valley League, this is from Thursday night. Ramona beat Canyon Springs 35-15. We have highlights here at the website if you want to check that out. La Sierra, Vista del Lago, and La Sierra 5-0 with a victory. From the San Andreas League, the Cowboys from Cajon They hang on against San G, 20-16. So Cajon remains undefeated,
Yeah,
5-0.
People were predicting a kind of a wide margin in that one, and I never didn't swallow the Kool-Aid on that.
Did San G have some injuries to start the season, or was that? I thought I heard something about that. They had some injuries.
Yeah, I think they had a big lineman injured, and they played Rev really competitively for a half, so they're a team to be reckoned with.
So maybe they're gaining some steam and got some kids healthy, and they played Cajon very
They can
tough.
move the ball.
From the San Andreas League, still Rialto and Royal Valley, and Rialto throws the shutout 40-zip. Another shutout, Carter and Colton 41-zip. Colton still looking for their first win. Pacific, they snap a 20-game losing streak. Prep Dog 24-7 against San Bernardino.
It's a nice win for the Pirates. We were scrambling to get the results of that game, and so I called Clem Perkins of San Bernardino, and he told me the score. And that's a really nice win for the Pacific Pirates, who were really a powerhouse in the Inland Empire in the 90s.
And the 20-game losing streak is over. Hopefully San Bernardino is not working on a losing streak of their own that will extend too far. I think they were 0-5 on the season. Non-league, as we mentioned, Vista Murrieta, they pick up a win against Palisades. Summit and Murrieta Mesa, 49-zip. We've got those highlights.
Thought that would be closer.
Yeah, Summit's just loaded. We were talking about that. Summit's got a lot of good players on Tony Brill's team. Chaparral, they were losing to Indio, but the Pumas, they pounced on a victory, 28-10. They did battle back. Indio's 0-5. Paloma Valley and Bloomington. Paloma Valley improves to 3-2 with a 33-13 victory. Jurupa Valley, they still have not lost this season, 4-0-1. They defeat Paris, 15-6 tonight. Beaumont and Banning, I got to get this right. It's like the war for the stagecoach wagon wheel, something like that. Dating
War
back
for the
to
wheel.
What's it?
War for the wheel.
War for the wheel, dating back to 1929, Prep Dog. And Beaumont 38-zip. Our game, Redlands East Valley 10-7 over Mission Viejo. Linfield Christian and CMI, we've got highlights of this one as well. 10-6, Linfield Christian's a winner. Kaiser and Hesperia 45-10. The Cats win on the road. Patriot and Victor Valley. Patriot, they blank Victor Valley 14-zip. Desert Hot Springs and Rim of the World 49-22. They get the win. Sherman Indian and Crean Lutheran battled. Crean Lutheran is undefeated. They win 56-zip. El Rancho and Fontana. Fohai loses 35-0. They're 0-5.
Long year for the Steelers. Technically 1-4 with the forfeit today.
Forfeit to...
They got a forfeit victory from Granite Hills.
Granite Hills, and that's the Lancaster.
From last week.
Okay, so they do have a win now. Etowanda and Eisenhower. Etowanda's a pretty good team. They win 50-7 against Ike.
Yeah, Larry Cutbirth is, he's quite a good high school quarterback, and he's got some receivers.
And I believe they beat Summit. We speak highly of Summit, and they actually beat Summit. I believe it was week 0. Bloomington Christian, 24. Avalon on Catalina Island. That must have been a fun trip, right, for Bloomington Christian?
Yeah, long ride home, but what are you going to do?
You get a win, take a nice little trip to the island. Everybody wins. Laguna Beach, Jurupa Hills. And Jurupa Hills loses 56-14.
And that's Mike Churchill's team, by the way, Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach, they're 5-0.
He was the coach at Carter and Redlands and Riverside Poly.
Well, looks like he's doing big things down the OC, leading his team to an undefeated record so far.
In his first year back.
Where'd he go? His first year back.
He had been the athletic director. I mean, he still is, but now he's doing both.
Now he's back in the coaching game.
Right.
All right. Well, I believe Will C. Holden will be joining us next for HS Game Time Late Night. We'll have more of these highlights and scores, and we'll have some, I believe, a phone guest, and we'll do some fun stuff. That's coming up on HS Game Time Late Night, so keep it right there. But for HS Game Time Live, Louis Amistoy, Dave Zink, EPJ, the Prep Dog, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time on HS Game Time Live.